Luke here to deliver week 7 tips. So you are going to be doing your final check-in here very soon. I hope you're excited. And so today I wanted to give you some insight as to the results of those in-body assessments and what to do depending on the results. So as you know, we call ourselves results coaches, and it's going to be very important that after you do this in-body for this final in-body for the challenge, that you take that information and you apply it appropriately. So let's dive into what those results could be. Okay, here we go. You are going to get results whether you like it or not. It's just really what happens after you get those results. What decisions you make as a result of those results is what really matters. So we're going to dive in to the 4 options and the 4 pathways that you might be on, but it's really important that you actually do something different. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So here we go. You can lose muscle and you can lose fat. That's one situation that happens. Okay. And that's since you're losing muscle, we're kind of like, what do I need to do? We're going to talk about that. Another situation could be you increase muscle and increase fat. Okay. That is when you need to cover your mouth a little bit. We'll talk more about that in a second. Sometimes you lose muscle and gain fat. That's when this happens. All right. That's a no good. Okay. Now listen, muscle up, fat down. That is when we party. So that's a good thing. So we'll talk about that too. So let's first dive into muscle down, fat down. All right. So now the first thing I want you to do is to make sure you check your total body water and compare that to your first in-body assessment. In the event that you lose muscle and lose fat, you could be very dehydrated. So double check that. You should be at 60% for men-ish. Mine is usually around 63-ish. And women are around 55%. So what you need to do is you need to take that total amount in body water in pounds. You got to do math. Sorry. So get out your TI-85 and then graph this thing out. So you just take that divided by your total weight, and it should be about 60%. So if you're a male, and then like I said, mine's at 63. It should be pretty consistent though. So like I said, if it's lower than your first one, then you know that you were severely dehydrated. And my suggestion would be to hydrate yourself, come back on a different day and redo your in-body just to make sure the numbers are right. Okay. You might be in too much of a caloric deficit. Now, when you start to, it's not an extreme deficit because you're actually losing fat. Oftentimes, if you're in too low of a deficit, you're gonna gain fat and lose muscle, which we'll talk about. But this means that you're kind of teetering. You're losing muscle, but you're still losing fat. So you're not at an extreme deficit. It's just enough of a deficit that suppresses your body's ability to build muscle. So take a look at that. Check your post-workout nutrition. If you're not doing anything after you do full body strength training and you're just kind of having a meal or drinking some water, or maybe you're doing a Pepsi or whatever, check that out because you should be doing liquid protein after you lift. Whether you're a fat burner or lean earner, that's a different discussion. So that could be part of the problem. So look at that. You got to be doing liquid protein to allow your body to heal. Add in amino acids during the day. So that could indicate that you're low in amino acids. And oftentimes that just doing one of these things, so maybe it's adding in amino acids, if you're not doing that already, is enough to get your body to go in that right direction with increasing muscle and losing fat. So I would suggest doing one of those 4. So muscle goes up, fat goes up. Chances are with this one, guys, sorry, you're eating probably too many calories. Look at carbs first. So carbs are usually what is the culprit with this situation. Now, anything in excess, carbs in excess will be stored as fat. Okay. So oftentimes carbs is the culprit that puts your body in a situation where you're actually not able to burn fat. So try carb backloading or carb cycling. Those are great ways to buffer your carb intake and to help you start to burn more fat. So try doing some blue-green cardio. Now, if you have enough time, try doing 60 minutes, 3 times a week, blue-green cardio. And if you don't have a ton of time, try doing, like I said, if you don't have a ton of time, you're not going to want to do blue-green because you're not going to burn very many calories. Do 15 to 20 minutes of yellow sprints 3 times a week. and that should help you start to burn some more fat. You can also try a thermogenic. So a thermogenic, Advocare has a product called Thermal Plus. It also has a product called Slim, and there's properties in those supplements that are proven to help you burn fat better for fuel. And now, only go supplement if you've already checked all these boxes. Okay, if you're making sure you have enough calories, you're eating at least, if not slightly above your basal metabolic rate, you're doing carb backloading, you started doing the cardio, at that point, it may be a good idea to layer in a thermo. So talk to us, talk to your coach if you have questions. Oh, here we go. So muscle goes down, fat goes up. This is a disaster. Just kidding. It's not a disaster. What this does, it gives us information on where you're at right now, and we just have to adjust accordingly. Ain't no biggie. All right. So here's what we need to adjust. Your metabolism may be suppressed. Okay. Like we talked about earlier, this is where you're consuming way too few calories. You're not just teetering on the edge of suppression. You're likely consuming too few calories. So you need to get your calories up for sure above your basal metabolic rate. So look at your InBody printout to see that. So add if you are indeed below. So say that you're right at your basal metabolic rate and you're still losing muscle and gaining fat, add 200 calories. So look, 200 calories above your BMR or wherever you were at. So that means you got to track on MyFitnessPal. That's super important. Identify what you're doing for post-workout nutrition. So that would be absolutely something that I would add into this. And if you're not doing a post-workout nutrition strategy, like having liquid protein, that might be enough to get you over that. So that post-workout nutrition is likely going to be around 200 calories, and that might get you over the edge. In that, oftentimes it's just little things done over time that get people these results that they want to see. So it's not these monumental things we need to change. So oftentimes doing the appropriate post-workout is enough to turn this whole situation around. So talk to your coach about that. It could be a sleep stress issue. So maybe you're fine with your post-workout, you're doing that, and you feel like you're eating enough calories. Well, let's take a look at sleep and stress. How many hours of sleep are you getting a night? At night when you rest, that's when your metabolism works. Okay, so that's when you build muscle. Your body repairs heavily at night, and if you're not getting good sleep and getting the restful nights that you need, that's what's going to impact stress. So often sleep and stress go hand in hand. Just get some more sleep. There's a ton of sleep apps, you guys, that you can use that absolutely help with that. What gets measured more often changes. So if you have a sleep problem, my suggestion, measure your sleep and look at ways to improve it. If you are increasing muscle and losing fat, you get the thumbs up by Chuck Norris, but doesn't let you off the hook. You still got to do stuff because we need to bottle this up. We need to figure out what ingredients in this recipe it took to match your metabolism. So you want to look at, make sure you track on MyFitnessPal so you know about how many calories you're eating, not about how many calories, you know, pretty right on to how many calories you're eating, but you're also going to identify your macros. So you're going to know what your macros are, carbs, protein, and fat it took to get your metabolism to kick butt. Note your workouts in your habits. So if you're doing, maybe you are doing 3 days a week of a Fit Club, or maybe you're doing twice a week Fit Club, once on your own, or maybe you just started doing full body strength and instead of cardio. So just note those things. Note your supplements also. Keep that in mind because all these things go into it. So just make sure you have detailed notes on what happened to get these results. So that's really important. So you're not off the hook. Make sure you're tracking your stuff. So that's it for the day, guys. Hopefully got something out of this. Now go crush it.
Hey guys, it's Luke. I'm here to talk to you about some shoulder activities you can go through to help with shoulder health. So shoulder is a super complicated joint. There's a lot going on with it. You have your arm bone, your humerus, you have your scapula, you got your clavicle. It's a super complicated, weird joint. So a lot can go around with it, but generally speaking, some of the issues that most people have are having excessive internal rotation of the arm bone, the upper arm bone, the humerus. So when that happens, just from sedentary life, working at a computer having a desk job for a long time, we tend to get more internally rotated. Gravity helps with that too. So as you get older, if you don't work on some postural muscles, you may start to slouch. Okay, even eyesight. So if you have bad eyes, it's been proven that you start to slouch more because you're always kind of squinting and looking forward like that. So even having bad eyes could contribute to some shoulder pain. So what we're going to focus on today is it's correcting some excessive internal rotation. And if you do have excessive internal rotation, it's going to be really hard to work some muscles in your back that can really help you with your metabolism if we can get those muscles to grow in just a little bit of size and strength. So those muscles, the two muscles that we want to really work on are your lats and your rhomboids. So I'm going to focus on both of those today. So the first one is going to be the lat. Okay, so when you're doing a lat pull down, all right, so if you are one of those excessive internal rotators, what your lat pull down might look like, if you want to go to the side here, Sabrina. So what your lat pull down might look like, it might look like this. Okay, so you see how I'm hunching forward when I do my lat pull down. When I hunch forward like that, I'm only reinforcing these are being overused and they're already over-activated. So we need to correct that by working on external rotation. So when you do your lat pull down, instead of rotating forward like this, really focus on keeping your shoulder blades down and back. Some of us coaches say that a lot. All right, a couple of tips. As you do your lat pull down, and it's hard to do with pull-ups, okay? So that's why it's good to start with this, with lat pull downs, is drive your elbows forward as you do a lat pull down. So driving your elbows forward, and I like to think about pointing my armpits forward. Armpits forward, elbows forward, and that's gonna really help keep your shoulder blades down and back as you do that motion, and it helps you avoid with that internal rotation. Exercise number 2, I'm gonna show you, it's more for your rhomboids and your back. This is the back fly machine / chest fly. So I'm gonna do this with my palms up. There's lots of variations with this depending on the person, but generally speaking, if you have some shoulder injuries or you're just chronic shoulder pain, I would generally have you go palms up, but go pretty light with it. So you're gonna have the seat set pretty high, usually 1 or 2. And like I said, you're gonna go palms up. Keep your palms on the handles, and you're gonna open up just like that, keeping your arms, your elbows just slightly unlocked. And you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, keeping the shoulder blades down. And this one you wanna go, make sure you're going nice and slow. Okay, both of them, both exercises are going to require just a little bit slower movement, okay? And you wanna do 15 to 20 repetitions and just go slow and controlled and really focus on the muscles that you're working. As long as you're not focused on your traps and these muscles up here, you're gonna be in a good spot. So if you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, if you do have some chronic shoulder pain, these 2 exercises can really help you out.